What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to be doing a champion showcase on one of my favorite champions in the game, and I've been using him extensively ever since I got him, and that's going to be Embrys. Embrys is the free mythical champion you can get from completing Chimera chests. So as long as you can do weekly chests of Chimera, you'll slowly start acquiring the fragments for Embrys. Now, the higher difficulty you can do, the more damage you can do, the more fragments you can get. And Embrys is going to be a fragment champion that you can summon from the portal. So now for me, I've already summoned him, and this guy is an absolute powerhouse. You can actually probably get him relatively early, depending on how progressed you are in Chimera. I would say for most people, you probably get him maybe earlier than even Lydia, for example. Considering that Lydia requires a pretty built-out roster and a lot of time to get, Embrys obviously still takes a lot of time, but you can kind of get him mostly passively, right? Just collecting the fragments as long as you complete your Chimera chest. Similar to how you get Mythical, you kind of get her kind of passively as long as you put in some Hydra damage. Now, what's the big deal with Embrys? Not only is he a mythical champion, which obviously allows you to do certain things in this game, like for example, prevent getting completely killed by lockout champions. He's actually an impressive support and DPS champion. So in his base form here, we got pretty good base stats, 111 base speed here. He has an A1 AoE, destroy max HP, hit with an increased random debuff on the enemy. He has an A2 here that basically true fears and places decreased attack on the enemy team. It's on a 4-turn cooldown when fully booked, but he does get an extra turn with this, which is really, really nice. He also brings something called Necrosis. Now, Necrosis is a very, very strong debuff. Only him and the Chimera currently have Necrosis. And basically, Necrosis is kind of like a 5% poison tick. You can kind of check it here in the debuff list here. So here it is, Necrosis. Whenever an enemy dies, a single Necrosis stack is placed on all alive enemies. Now, each Necrosis stack deals 5% of the enemy's max HP at the beginning of their turn. For the example, if the champion has 3 Necrosis stacks, they take damage equal to 15% of their max HP. Now, obviously, 5% of their max HP, it's it's a relatively small amount, but over time, it's a really, really nice condition that can kind of take over a fight, especially if you lost quite a bit of your teammates. That's a quick rundown on the Necrosis. Obviously, if enemies are under Necrosis, then this can't be resisted, so that's kind of nice. You don't need accuracy on Embrys. And his big ability here, the Unmaking. Now, the way this one works, it's on a 4-turn cooldown when fully booked, is that it's an AoE attack, and it removes Stone Skin, and it replaces it with True Fear. So the way this works is that it's not a strip, it's not a duration decrease, it's just a remove and replace. So the way this works is that there is no accuracy check on this, and it just removes it. Now, there's no real way to prevent this from happening other than Lightning Cage or Affinity. So Embrys still needs to hit. So if he weak hits, then this ability won't work. And Lightning Cage can prevent the strip from happening. Now, the other abilities on this skill do require accuracy. For example, flipping the block debuffs into block buffs, increasing, all of these stat flips. Also, the turn meter steal. Requires accuracy. However, if they're under Necrosis, then they can't be resisted anyways. But the big thing here is the Stone Skin removal. So it can remove the Stone Skin fairly consistently. And then, of course, he has the Metamorph transformation. And then his passive here, whenever an enemy is killed, place 1 Necrosis stack on all enemies. So this is what we're talking about, Necrosis. It cannot be blocked or resisted. It can only be removed by reviving dead allies. This doesn't work against bosses, unfortunately. And the extra effect on his passive is that at the start and the end of the champion's turn, instantly activate Necrosis. So basically, they take 10% damage, I guess, when they start and end the turn for this champion. And then the enemy also takes damage as well. It's quite a bit of passive damage that's happening. Also, this base form of Embrys has extra turn mechanics here, which is really, really nice. So there's just more opportunities to get these Necrosis damage. And then you have him transform into this Behemoth here. Absolute beast of a champion. Look at his base stats, 24,000 base HP, 105 base speed, big crit damage with a bit of accuracy. Now his A1 has a block revive. He does place an extra hit if there's Necrosis out there. It's super, super nice. The block revive is really good at killing like Wukongs or any weird like trouble revivers, for example, or even just sniping the DPS champion. His A2, Atomize, attack all enemies. It's a 3-turn cooldown, deals double damage to enemies whose accuracy is lower than this champion's accuracy, or it ignores 50% of each enemy's defense whose accuracy is equal to or higher than this champion's accuracy. Generally speaking, ignoring 50% of the target's defense is probably stronger than double damage. So you probably want Embrys to have low accuracy. Now that is going to work against him on some of his skills. For example, flipping some of the buffs into debuffs, placing fear, placing decreased attack, especially in his base form. But if you just want him mainly as a damage dealer, you want to focus on not having too much accuracy on him. Not going to be too difficult, I think, to build him without accuracy. Lastly, he has this ability here on a 4-turn cooldown, swapping enemy HP. If it's a boss, restore his health to max, which is awesome, and it restores max HP as well. Each time the skill is used, increase the champion's ignore defense by 10%, while in their alternate form up to 50%, then grants an extra turn. This is really powerful. It gives them a nice damage boost, also gives them some massive healing. It's really, really strong, especially for a damage dealer. His passive here, really nice passive effect. When this champion dies, reflect damage equal to 50% of the fatal hit back to the attacker. Very, very annoying. It basically gives him an extra life when paired up with his active effect, which is on a 5-turn cooldown. But when he dies, he basically comes back with the revive on death buff on them. And of course, he does have that necrosis ability as well. So Embrys, absolutely insane champion here. He can deal damage passively from necrosis. He can block revive. He can buff himself up. He can heal himself. He has an AoE attack. He has a reflect damage, so that's more damage going back to the attacker. And he has a survivability mechanic here as well with his active effect. So this guy is an absolute menace in like tons of areas of the game. His main focus will be arena. Now I'll show you guys the build that I have him in, and we'll take him into some content. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so this is my Embrys here. He is in a pretty standard lethal plus stone skin build. Now there are some other ways you can build him out. You could definitely use a set like pinpoint, but I think adding ignore defense set definitely makes him a stronger damage dealer. For me, he is a very, very powerful damage dealer, one of the best damage dealers on my account. But absolutely, you can totally just use him in his base form just for his debuffing ability and his stone skin removal as a strip champion. But then that feels kind of wasteful because he does have a very powerful alternate form. So for me, I have him built out to mainly utilize his alternate form as a damage dealer. You can kind of see I have his accuracy relatively low, 200 only. 80 of that is coming from affinity bonuses and 20 of that is coming from his base stats. He has 283 crit damage, 100% crit rate. That's a must. 300 speed, 104 base HP. Obviously, you want him to go pretty fast, ideally faster than your other nukers, because then you have the option to use his A1 stone skin removal ability. So technically, you can kind of use him to remove the stone skin and then have your second nuker come in and nuke the team as well. So that's always a possibility as long as he is fast. I'll go over individual gear pieces here. Keep in mind that this is probably the best gear I have on my account for an HP based damage dealer in this gear configuration. So stone skin plus lethal. You can definitely use stone skin savage, stone skin instinct, or you can just use instinct savage, or just lethal by itself, or you could use, for example, 6-piece merciless if you want. But stone skin basically means that he more than likely gets a turn. So just a quick look here. Obviously, accuracy can increase his damage as well, because if you look at his alternate form, his damage is actually based on HP and accuracy. And we have a quick look at his multipliers here. Both of them are rated as a god-like multiplier on the abilities. So each one of them, they do benefit from a little bit of accuracy for the damage multiplier as well. So that's really nice to see. So no wasted stats there. So checking out the stats here. So I got speed, crit rate, crit damage, accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, speed with HP. These are basically the stats you want. I got mythical piece here as well. Very nice. Very, very nice shield here. Triple speed with HP percentage, crit rate, crit damage as well. We got a glove here with HP, triple speed. This is the big thing here. You really want him to go fast. Ideally faster than the rest of your nukers, like I said. If possible, we got shield, chest here with HP percentage, crit rate, crit damage with speed. And then we have a boot here with lots of crit rate, a little bit of accuracy, flat HP. And we got ascended HP percentage. In terms of the accessories, same kind of thing. You just want HP percentage and speed as much as possible. A little bit of accuracy here, not the end of the world. Pinpoint set, you get a little bit of accuracy here. Again, not the end of the world. HP with crit damage. And then this is the best ring we have for Stone Skin. In terms of the relics, I chose Wand of Submission because Wand of Submission in Arena is pretty busted right now. And obviously, Embrys is a big target to get sheeped and tried to, you have to try to control this champion, otherwise he's just going to blow you up right away. So the wand of submission gives him a chance to prevent some of that crowd control. Also, HP and speed are very, very strong for Embrys. So this is the perfect relic for him, in my opinion. You can also go for a relic like the Death Dealer. So this is the Death Dealer relic. Wearer's attacks will always be critical. So the important thing about this is, like I mentioned, Embrys can weak hit on his stone skin removal. So having the Death Dealer not only pumps him up in terms of giving him more damage, because you can build him for more damage since you don't have to build him with crit rate, but it also enables him to always remove the stone skin, unless protected by lightning cage, for example. But this is an option as well. A couple options here for him. You could also use Infernal Prototype because he does have a revive mechanic, so this could be pretty good. HP and speed here on this mythical relic as well. Obviously something like the Cat's Gaze for some additional ignore defense, similar to the Covetous Passion here could be really good. Crown of Corruption. You guys get the idea. He's a very flexible champion, but he is a damage dealer. In terms of overall blessings, I chose Lightning Cage as the 1-star. You get pretty good value from Lightning Cage as it will give you a chance to protect your buffs. So in this case, it will protect your stone skin. If you have a 6-star Embrys, not too sure which one you would pick. Maybe even Crushing Ren would be really nice. Or you go for something with more damage like Soul Reaper. So for me, I did go for Lightning Cage and I did go for the Wand of Submission. In terms of the overall gems here, this Diamond gem, not really too much value here. We went to the Circle gem, pretty good since I'm usually getting the first hit in, so an extra 5% damage. This other Circle gem, every time the wearer is revived, decreases all incoming damage. So it gives him a little bit of survivability. He does have, like I said, a revive on death, so he will get at least some value from this gem sometimes. But it really depends on what you have available for you. If you don't have the proper books to book him out, I highly suggest booking out his damage form and using him as a damage dealer. He actually works relatively well without any books. Usually you only use this ability once, your life is forfeit, and then usually you only use this ability once and probably win the game. The thing is, he gets quite a bit of damage from books. He gets 30% here, he gets 20% from a single book, and you kind of want the cooldown on this one because you want to do more AoEs for some more big hits. So he gets some pretty good value in his damage form. You don't necessarily need books in his base form. His A1 doing damage, not a big deal. This ability, you probably may or may not use it. And then this ability, you don't need any of this because you just use it once and that's going to be it. So if you're low on books, definitely just book his secondary form for some additional damage. For the masteries, this is the mastery set I have on him. Went down to Helm Smasher, that's the important part. Crit rate, crit damage, damage, extra damage on kill. And then we have a chance to get the reset. I went for counterattacks here because his A1 counterattacks very, very powerful. And Harvest Despair, it gives him a chance to land Leech because he does have fears on his A1, which is kind of cool. And I think that's the best value for him. Anyways, so that's my Embrys. So let's take him into some content here. Live Arena is open right now, so we'll take him in Live Arena. And I will pick him no matter what. He's going to be my first overall pick. And you know what? He is a 100% worthy first overall pick for Live Arena. And as a general damage dealer, he's amazing. As a general damage dealer, he's absolutely amazing. No issues with him. No issues with picking him first either. He plays really, really well against most team comps. His biggest weakness may be against block damage because he actually has no way to deal with it properly. Especially like protected block damage, like from Neve, for example, or from Nice. That's so those are really, really tough guys to deal with here. All right, so I'm not too sure what we're gonna go with here. He got Sifi with the Sheep Blessing, and then we're gonna be up against Embrys here. Marius here. Embrys actually performs pretty well against Marius because even if Embrys gets enfeebled by Marius, he still has some extra turn mechanics, so you can kind of kick out of that enfeeble. All right, let's see what we can do here. I don't know if we have a really, really good matchup here against this guy's team. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. We do have some supersonic sets here to counter the Sifi. Obviously, the star of the show here is Embrys, so let's see what he can do here. Okay, so the supersonic set allow us to cut in, so we can boost ourselves. And we can't really steal turn meter from anybody, only the Sifi. Just sheep. Marius. Perfect. We do get Embrys to go first, so this is where he's going to be really, really strong. A lot of protective buffs here, so we're not going to be able to use this ability. Let's transform. We can do a health swap. That's going to boost up his damage here, and then we got the AoE attack. Okay, so everybody dies, so that's massive. I'm going to save the A2 on the Wukong here just so we can get a clean kill afterwards. Oh, unfortunately, maybe Necrosis can kill the Marius. So the Necrosis is this purple cloud here. So we get some extra stacks of Necrosis. It's going to do some passive damage here. I'm just going to use the A1 to kill off the Marius. And now we get the CC train going. Need to kill off this Laz. Can A1 him to death. Yep, A1 block revive, guys. It's pretty dang strong. Pretty dang strong. There you go. He's out. Embrys doing the heavy lifting there. All right, same thing. We're going to pick Embrys in every fight. We're going to try our best. Usually he doesn't get banned. So let's see what he's got here. His Lamassu probably going to go first. 6-star Lamassu with the banner. Probably going to go first. We need to change it up. Go second strategy here. Fortunately, we don't have the best go second strategy. We're probably going to go with Neve. Probably go with kind of like, he doesn't have any CC. He does have some fear, I guess. Let's go with the you know what? I'm gonna get real cute here. Get real cute. We're gonna go with the UDK. The UDK special. So he's gonna ban Neve. Gonna ban Neve. Banning Neve. See if he's gonna die. Avalex is pretty low value here. He's gonna ban Neve, see if he dies, and then we have 2 nukers against his Sigmund. I kind of like this. Let's do this play. He's gonna ban Neve here. Go HP. We have Stone Skin on Harima and Embrys. So see if he's going to die to the Cavalax. I think that's probably okay. And then we have 2 strong affinity against the Siegfried here. So all we have to do is just kill Siegfried. It's obviously not going to be that easy. But let's see what happens here. Okay. So we're going to transform. And we're going to power up here and see if we can one-shot this guy. I mean, it's unlikely that's going to happen. Can't A1 him to death. Just going to trigger his stuff. Try to kill Lamassu. Nope. Okay. A little bit annoying here, but this this Fabian's gonna be a little bit annoying here. Just have to get through this block damage here a little bit. A1, there we go, dead. Decrease attack on everybody. Nope. Nope. Sorry, bud. GG. There we go. We got the extra turn. We kicked out of the fear and then GG. Of course, if we, had the fear triggered, then he's going to not be able to attack, but worked out really well there for us. But yeah, I think this is a case of just being able to outpick our opponent there. Harima obviously counters Siegfried pretty good, and then UDK counters him pretty good as well. But Embrys obviously doing the heavy lifting there also. All right, these two are very, very strong. Embrys works really well with Carnage as well, because Embrys can remove pretty much most of the buffs, the hard buffs, and then you have Carnage coming in to lock everybody else with his debuffs. Very, very powerful champion. I'm going to use a slightly similar strategy as previously, I think. The UDK blocks both of these champions out pretty good, and it also will kind of stop Fabian a little bit. He's going for bombs. See if we can fade out this Ayasu here. He does counter Stone Skin and block damage pretty good. So, but no plus attack here. I guess, sorry, Suzin has the instant turn plus attack. Let's see if it's going to be any good here. We do have Freya with the cleanse here. And then, of course, the passive is going to help one of our DPS as well. Gonna have to multi-hit through to kill the Marius. Is it enough? Nope, not enough. Can we one-shot his Ayasu? There we go. We got him enfeebled. That's a big hit there for him. Nope. Provoked here. So, oh, the fears. All right, so here you have to be a little bit careful about Odin because you don't want to take too many extra turns because it's very easy to take extra turns with Embrys. So against Odin, you do have to be careful. So we do have a clear line here to basically end this fight. So we're just going to do that without having to buff up needlessly. So we'll just do that. At this point, it's basically almost over. I would say Odin is a chance for him to come back. But at this point, he's not able to go through the UDK with his single target hit and his revive. So there you go. Just a little tip there versus Odin. All right, let's do one more fight here with Embrys. Okay, so he's gonna try to go first. We have a pretty good shot of going first usually here. So probably gonna ban Sifi. He has the 5-star banner with the Arbiter. That's 6-star banner with Carnage. It's a little bit annoying. Six-star banner with Carnage. He's gonna ban CP for the banner. Yep. So we have 2 Terminator boosts and we have a pretty fast nukers. He only has Fabian. So maybe we can basically outspeed his Fabian before he gets a turn. But the best thing about Embrys is that he is a mythical champion, so he does not get locked out. You cannot stop him. Do we get the turn? So here comes Fabian. He's going to come in here. But then our Embrys will get a turn, transforms. Mare's going to get his shot off, but no chance to enfeeble. We're going to boost up our damage with his A3, and then we're going to one-shot his whole team, and that's going to be it. Boom. There you go. There you go. Embrys, super strong. Obviously, he has the power of being a mythical champion, so that makes a big difference, big impact, being protected from the lockouts. So you can kind of take a look at here, the lineup that we just had. We had him in like go first teams, we had him in go second teams, and he performs really well, right? He has passive damage from his necrosis stacks. You get value from the A1 block revive, so he can end fights that way. And then he's super powerful with his AoE attack. Let's jump into some regular arena fights, and then we'll cherry pick some battles to showcase a little bit more about his kit. All right, let's play him in the go second style team here. We'll see how we do. We got Neve here for the shields. We got Freya for passive. We're playing against two lockout champions here with Alice and Fabian. Let's see how well we perform. Let's shut down the Carnage here with a decreased attack. Okay, so Carnage did lock out our passive here. It's a little bit annoying. A1 is able to wipe them out. The A1 being an AoE is actually really nice as well. And the A1 again. Basically, at this point, it's pretty much over. The necrosis stacks will actually just take them out. So this is just the base form. He does gain damage from books in his base form on his A1. So it is worth booking out once in a while because you will actually be using it. So for example here, and it does destroy the target max HP a little bit. So it does have some inevitability, for example. So yeah, it's not too bad here, just showcasing off his A1. And let's see how well he does basically on defense versus my offense, Embrys. Let's see how this works. We have changed up our team a little bit here, back to a more speed team type team. Booster, lockout. So here he does have two mythical champions, so they won't actually get locked out. They can still transform, of course. We'll petrify his Embrys. Does it work? Yes, it does. And for example, I'll showcase his A2 here. We haven't had a chance to do that. So what he does is you place fear and decrease attack. Both of these require accuracy, and then you get an extra turn. Sometimes this can be pretty good because it kind of can shut down some DPS champions, for example, with low resistance. So it's not too bad to use this. Now, I will warn you guys that if you guys use this, it gives a chance for somebody with the wand to send the fear back onto Embrys. So it's not the best to use if you don't have any kind of protection like block debuffs or stone skin. And it also has a chance to send back sheep. So, or sorry, get you sheep. So that's the other big concern here. So that might happen as well, but you can kind of see the decreased attack landing everywhere, which is really nice, again, to shut down enemy DPS champions. So here we get an extra turn back. We're not going to use this, obviously. So now you can kind of transform. And then you can do the health swap. And then you can just one-shot the whole team. Now, it's kind of nice that you can actually, hard CC them as well and then transform, and then you get more damage, especially if you take the mastery that boosts your damage for the enemy having any kind of CC on them. So there's a nice small way to get some extra damage there. And then he does have ways to protect himself as well with the fear and all that. So again, we'll try it out against this team here. Let's see if we go first. If not, then we'll face the Marius. Looks like we go first. So turn meter boost here again. And right into the lockout. Same thing, we'll do the fear again. So this kind of CCs them. It does land leech because we have a harvest to spare. We'll transform. Maris is feared. That worked out in our favor. We will do the swapping and then one hit and then it's over. All right, let's try again. We'll go up against this guy's team here. About 800k player power. We end up going first. Let's see what happens. Turn meter boost. He does have Commodus. Commodus has a similar kind of really powerful ability where he basically just does everything in his secondary form, of course. Let's shut down one of these champions here. All right, so transform. And it's so straightforward, right? As long as he can get a turn, he's so powerful. He can kill off a bunch of stuff here. And then you have the necrosis to finish off everybody as well. It's super nice. So, you know, technically we don't have to do anything. Pop and the A1 revive, and then a Crosis to finish off. Super, super nice. And we'll kind of use like a fun kind of go second team here. I kind of want to see Embrys get one shot by the Arnorn and then have his passive kill the Arnorn. But let's see what happens here. More of a fun go second team here. So we got the shields, we got poisons out. Looks like the poisons are going to do everybody in. Yep. But let's see if Arnorn can kill everybody here. Let's see. I know I'm probably supposed to, you know, probably not supposed to trigger his passive, but let's see what happens when we trigger his passive. Okay, so we trigger his passive. He's going to, doesn't one-shot our Embrys, unfortunately. There we go. Okay, and then our Neve came in and protected us. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this fight again, and then we're going to try to get against that Arnorn, try to kill our team. This time we won't run Neve. Let's run... Freya. All right. Let's just run 3 champions because we know that he doesn't have any stone skin. So that's going to, all of this is just going to kill him off here. And we will go with the turn meter boost so that we get a turn right away. Here we'll do the fears. Transform. Buff up. And then kill everybody. Okay, so he's going to come in, kill everybody. And then Necrosis finishes them off. So you can kind of see there, Embrys has, you know, many different ways of kind of winning the fight there. He could have won the fight with the reflect damage, but instead he wins the fight with Necrosis stacks. But yeah, super, super powerful champion there we got. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the showcase here. Hopefully I showed you guys my Embrys in, you know, various different ways. Obviously, he's going to be mainly an arena champion for me personally. He does have some PvE usage. If you have him in the right build, he can actually solo Sand Devil and actually Phantom Shogun, which is really, really nice. Just added versatility to this champion. I mean, as a free champion, a free mythical champion, Embrys is one of the best in the game. As a free champion, he might be the second best free champion behind Marius in this entire game. Both of these free champions are absolutely insane, and Marius and Embrys are going to be at the top of the pile there. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about my Embrys, about where you guys have and used him. Let me know how you guys build him out. Let me know if you guys have any tips for me for my Embrys. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.